Hello everyone, in this lesson we're going to be writing our first line of CSS code. So the first thing is first, we're going to create two files. One that's going to be an HTML file so that we can style something, and then next we're going to create a CSS file where we'll define our styles. So let's go ahead and open Komodo, and let's go ahead and create a new file from template. So the first one we're going to do is HTML5, and we're going to style this one, or we're going to name this one, let's call this styling website. Let's open that up. Yep. Alright, so just like any other HTML website, let's add the meta tags. You guys should have become accustomed to writing these meta charset tags because we've written them so many times. So in the body, we're just going to create one little thing. It's going to be a paragraph that says, let's go ahead and say paragraph, just to make it easier on ourselves. So we're going to go ahead and save that. And now we're going to make a new file. Now Komodo Edit doesn't have a template for CSS. If you look for a file and new file from template, there's not going to be one that says CSS, because CSS basically does not have any templates. So all we're going to do is we're going to create a new file, a blank file, a text file basically. And we're going to go over here and we're going to click new file. So now we have a text file. Now let's go ahead and save this file. So Command S, Control S, and let's go and save that. So save as. So we're going to name this website .css. Now CSS is going to be our extension name. We're going to tell the file that, hey, we're going to be writing in CSS format. So website.css, and we're going to save it in the same web developer course file. So let's go ahead and save that. And now we have a CSS file and an HTML file. Now the first thing to do is we want these two files to talk to each other, because naturally they don't talk to each other. We want the HTML file to know that, hey, you're going to get all of your styling information from this file over here. Now how do we do that? Well, we're going to go into our HTML file, and in our head section we're going to add a link tag. So we're going to do bracket link. Now this is going to help us link our HTML file to our CSS file. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to type rel, because that's going to be our relationship. So that's going to be the attribute rel equals, and we're going to describe the relationship to this file. So it's going to be a style sheet. So in quotation marks, we're going to write quotation mark style sheet, and then close off that quotation mark. Now we're going to add another attribute. We're going to establish the type of style sheet that we have. So we're going to use the type attribute equals quotation mark. Now we're going to explain what type of style sheet this is, or what format this is. So since we're using CSS, we're going to type text/CSS. This is going to tell our link that, hey, we're going to be importing a CSS style sheet. Now last tag we need to do is we need to tell it where to find this file. So if we can remember back to links, remembered we told a link to go to somewhere based through href, that href attribute. We're going to do the exact same thing for the link tag. So we're going to write href equals, and we're going to type in the file name. So over here we call this website.css. So we're going to go ahead and type in website.css in between these quotation marks. So website.css. Now this is a standalone tag, just like the meta charset tag, so we can go ahead and close that off, either through a single bracket like that, or if you prefer a slash and a bracket, that would work as well. So let's go ahead and save this, and then let's go over to our CSS file and let's learn about how to make CSS code. So CSS is going to help us style our website. Now the way CSS does this is through a set of rules. We're basically going to assign rules to each different tag or different element of how we want it specifically styled. Now there's going to be a couple key terms we're going to need to learn, and that's going to be the syntax of how we write CSS code. So the first thing that we do in CSS is we give it a selector. We tell it what we want to style. That can be either through the use of the tag name, or through the use of identifiers and classes, which we haven't learned so far, and through the use of children, parents, and descendants, which we're going to be learning later on. Now all we know are tags, so we're going to be describing how to style different tags inside of here. So the tag that we want to style is called the paragraph tag, or the P tag if you want to say. So when we're typing a selector, we're going to write P. Now this is going to select in CSS that, hey, now we're going to be styling this paragraph. Anything that has a paragraph in it, in this HTML document, we're going to style it from now on. So next, we're going to be doing declarations, and we're going to be assigning values to those declarations. Now we do that into these curly braces. Now we're going to have two of these curly braces. One is the opening curly brace and one is the closing one. So let's go ahead and press enter and give ourselves some room to assign some different declarations. Now a declaration is basically assigning a rule to an element. So for example, a declaration could look like this: color blue. Now that is an entire declaration. Now as you can imagine, this is pretty easy to understand that what we're doing, we're assigning the color of the paragraph to be blue. Now when we write CSS code, we always want to end it off with a little semicolon, as it tells us that this declaration ends there. So this right here, this color, is called the property. Now there's going to be many properties we're going to have to learn about CSS, and the same with HTML. As we learn different types of tags, we're going to be learning different types of properties. Now this blue over here is assigning this property a value. So I want this color to be a value of blue. We can also write white or black or green and so on. So that is CSS code. So let's go ahead and work with this paragraph. Selected. So let's say we want this paragraph. As you can see, we had a paragraph over here, so they match up. Let's make this paragraph a color blue. So color. So we defined the property. Now after we define the property, we add a colon, and now we're going to write the value. And we can do this through the colors that we know, such as web-safe colors that are going to be like blue, white, green, black, stuff like that. So let's go ahead and write blue, and let's close that off with a semicolon. Now we can go ahead and save our document. Let's go back over here and let's go look at this document. So let's go and preview this file, Google Chrome, preview, and there we go. We now have a blue paragraph. So CSS is that easy to do. Now going back to the CSS file, this is our entire CSS syntax. This is a rule. This is setting the rule for a paragraph. Now later on, we're going to be describing and we're going to learn about different types of properties we can set to rules, such as margin, padding, font size, font family, all those different types of declarations that we're going to, and properties that we're going to be needing to know to accurately and properly style our website. So stay tuned for the next lesson. We're going to be learning how to change colors and font sizes.